What am I afraid of? Women? Um, Police officers? Well, why am I afraid of women? It's not a fear. It's a sort of a wariness, um, and I say that sort of tongue in cheek. But we're talking about people who maybe are not Buddhist or who are are not stable in their mind, or you can say ordinary people, but they can be sometimes a little bit extreme on the side of attachment. And you get a lot of these. So you find people who cling to you, and that can be quite difficult as a monk. Uh, you've got to be nice to people and kind, but sometimes you can be really, really kind to people, and they can fall into some kind of attachment towards you. So, and I suppose the other thing is just how you get in so much trouble as a monk. Like sometimes you be alone in a place with a woman, and someone sees you, and suddenly word gets around that you're sleeping with a woman, and so on. So you have to be really careful. That's the first thing. The second thing, why am I afraid of police officers? Well, I'm living in America now. I'm not living in a Buddhist country, and so not to say anything. Actually, the problem isn't really police officers. It's more people who, for whatever reason, either through fear of the unknown or through just overall paranoia, caution, I don't know, can often overreact towards strange things, like things that seem strange to them, like a monk. So last year I was put in jail. Someone called the police and claimed that I was walking around in the forest playing with myself, or opening my robes up and showing my private parts to people. And by the time I talked to the police, it had escalated into this story where I had run around opening my robes and showing my private parts to a man and his daughters, and just crazy stuff. And there was a whole crowd of people that apparently saw me. Like, I was trying to think if maybe I had gone unconscious or something, and those movies where the killer turns out to be the innocent guy because he did it while he was in some kind of a state. So I was thinking, wow, I mean, is it possible that could have happened? But what I was doing, I was meditating off in the forest, but it happened to be near a public beach. In the coast of California by the ocean, they have these wonderful parks, but it's also near a public beach. I didn't go to the beach, but there was, there's been many example or many cases up there of streakers because there's a nudist colony up the road or something like that. So they get these kind of things all the time, apparently, which it was totally unbeknownst to me. I was just looking for a nice place to meditate, and I happened to make a video. I had set my camera up. I think that's what this guy saw. He saw me walking around looking for a good place to set up my video, and I must have looked like a crazy person walking around in circles. And so I spent a nice evening in the local, the state penitentiary, I don't know what it was, some kind of state prison, just in a holding cell until someone bailed me out. It was freaky. After that, I've had quite a phobia of police officers, and just recently I was stopped by a police officer here on my alms round because he'd had someone call in and ask me who I was and what I was hiding underneath my robes, because I carry this big bowl around. So that's the second thing I'm afraid of. But I suppose those aren't real fears. I think something that I could really say that I have a fear of is fear of failure, and I recognize this in myself. I don't think it's totally unhealthy. I think some sort of fear of failure is good to propel you on, but it's the idea that somehow I might I might lose my grasp on the path. So I'm often watching myself and concerned that some of the things that I have to engage in, like teaching, um, might get in the way or take time away from my own practice, and so I often worry about that. Um, because it's something that really used to devastate me. Something that was really a phobia of mine would be disrobing, because around when I ordained 18 monks ordained on the same day. At the same time, we had to ordain 18 of us, 3 at a time, 6 times, and I was in the last group. And then after I ordained, I left Thailand to go back to Canada. And when I came back to Thailand again, I was the only one left out of 18. The rest of them had all disrobed. So the survival rate is very low, and most of them are ordaining for whatever reason, just for cultural reasons. But still, you see some pretty powerful monks disrobing, and so I've never had any thought that I want to disrobe at all. Never, not once in my almost 10 years as a monk. And yet, everyone's saying, "Oh, you be careful," and you never know, and suddenly it comes up, and you see these people who've been monks for like 20 years, and then suddenly they want to disrobe. So, I used to have this dream. I'd wake, those dreams where you're in school, and you're naked, you're not wearing clothes. I don't know. This is a common psychological dream that Freud or Jung or whoever talked about. It's a common phobia people have. You're going to school or you're going to work, and you're in your underwear. Well, the dream I had would be that I'd be going out, and I was in clothes. I was wearing clothes. I wasn't wearing a monk's robe, and I was devastated because it meant that I'd disrobed. It meant that I was no longer a monk, and I was freaking out and just so sad and so upset about that. And then I'd wake up and realize, oh, I'm still a monk. Still, I didn't disrobe. And that happened several times in the first couple of years that I was a monk, because it's something that's very important to me. And to lose it, just this fear that, people instill in you, that watch out, you never know, you're going to suddenly want to disrobe and you're not going to be able to. I don't know, it's it's a long haul. You're talking about a training that lasts years. We're talking about a lifelong training. So the point is, you don't know what could happen. So it's something to always be on the watch out for. So that's something I think that could be close to be called a fear. Certainly was a fear in the beginning. I suppose I'm not so afraid of it now. But well, there's the question and there's my answer. So I hope that's useful. Okay. That's the latest installment in Life in a Day of a Monk.